To what does this pertain? To what does this pertain? Will. Return. Will. Return. Will. Return. Will to face what is ahead. With love, fostering safety and agency and consent. To what does this pertain? Radio, science, brain. To what does this pertain? Radio, science, brain. To what does this pertain? Radio, science, brain. Perpendicular trains, parallel against hate, parallel against pain. This is the mindness mained, this is the scient claim, imagination aim. Pretend that love is sane, imagine this might game us or may make us game. We might be prey to predator today, but that's not the way. In fact, we be play. Make play the name, make sane the game. Radio, science, brain, innate, relay, mind mapped. Not scrapped, but scrappy. We are happed, we're happy. We are the mindness. Connect. Connect. Connect, connect. Canaptly connect this. Can anti-perfect us. Can't perfect this, but can get closer to perfection that can help us, erect us. This is the mind, won't have wrecked us. This is the mind prospectus. Relay today your map of this sane relay, your own perfect way be named. Not pray, I play. I play you not pray, be not prey today, be not prey to predator any day, instead be play. Be wax from wane, be named always in a language your brain wrote before a language claimed any space. You said radio, science, brain, or something that filler holds space for, so you can map it again and find you're the friend you're searching for. Where is this wending? Does this ending have end? You are the map, pretend. You are becoming something, ascending and mapping, worshiping something you're up to. Maybe this is you looking for you. Maybe you are finding your truth, and that's how a partnership can brew. We are leveling up. Every moment we have connection to us. Every moment we're omnibus. Every moment we're ubiquitous and ubiquitous through this relay. Synaptically liaised. This mind is always liaised. This mind is always amazed. Perpendicular trains, parallel against hate, parallel against pain. To what does this pertain? Radio, science, brain. To what does this pertain? Radio, science, brain. To what does this pertain? Radio, science, brain. Pretend that love is sane. 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 Perpendicular trains may liaise in time to just move in, exactly out of phase. So all cars can pass safely, all souls can. Map natively to safe spaces, perfect places, perfect ways is where we erase none of us, where we displace not omnibus, but all of us can be safe in trust. This is the mindness made, no or bust. This is the mindness standing on firm crust. Imagine omnibus bust. Not busted, not stove boat, not melted down like blubber. This might flubber us, this might not flummox us, might be the floater tire that tires ne'er. Why we over there, how we up here in air. Flubber fair, yes, we go to there. How? I don't know. But there, somewhere, someone spinning plates that minds can create. They found this there. That's where flubber came from. That's where. Like that one part of kindness that someone saw and signed this and signed it into being. That's how we're floating this way. That's how this became something that we're seeing. From each perspective, our ubiquity now says this is a perfection in promiscuity, that we are promiscuously, conspicuously consuming this new innovation. Just part of creation. We're a mind in levitation because someone said flubber. Don't flummox us, we flummox thus. We now fly on a flubber bus. Radio science brain be nuzzled thus. Radio science brain combust with combustionless relay. Don't burn this. Burnless thus. This is the Wi-Fi bus. This is the Wi-Fi bus. This is the radio dialed nuzzle or bustle. Make hustle. Nipsey Russell, thank you for this. Can wane or wax again. The mind may be game. Be not prey today. I play you be not prey. I play you not pray. Play be play today. Mind may be game. Radio science brain. What was the language before the language had a name? Before your brain heard from lips, raw to your ear, your name. In the language they brought, you heard it through tissue, but now it's vibrating. How vibrations come in these gentle contusions. Can you? Can you? Of course you do. Radio science brain, we can wake wax from wane. How do you proclaim that gain? How do you proclaim the game? What is the game inside of us? What is the calling omnibus about any of us? What is the mindness that we main? And if this mainframe has a connection here, how to wake wax from wane? What do you then contain? What does this then contain? What do we now contain? What is the mind that created the thing we're following here? What is the thing that brought us? What is the birth that bore? What is the boring part of this chart? What is the art that found this art? What is the heart that found this art? Is it funny? I think it might be, but it's chum of thee, it's chum of thee under thee, it's chum of the what is and underneath and what is neath anyway coming for free, I guess. It's just the curious. It's just the play to come to here, to find, is this a sphere, is this a fear, is this... Well, I'm nearer. I'm nearer to something. I guess I'm nearer me, I'm near. I'm nearer fearless, or nearer knowing I need not fear fear itself. It's fear. I need not sear. I need not sear. I need not be seared by branding. I need not be feared. I need not be feared to quell and quell on this landing. I keep standing. I keep stepping. I keep feeling. If I forget the steps, I just keep walking, because the dance is just the continuation of vibration and movement. And if it's wrong, I can keep making improvements. This is how play knows an impression that climbs over each depression. This is a love's obsession. This is the world's relationship to how one connection can be aimed and sane and safely say, let's program a game into mainframe. Pretend that love is sane. Pretend that love is sane. Pretend that love is sane. Mind me, just aim. We can wake wax from wane. Pretend today that love wake wax from wane. We can wake wax from wane. It's plain. The mind reigns from all brains to all brains. I'm not sure how it came. I don't claim, I proclaim. Radio science brain. This is how mind relays happen just every day. This is one of the ways. How does this space liaise? I'm not sure. It's not quite crazy, but it's a craze. It's a maze, like all nexi, this nexus of colossi. I am not seeing with eyes, but my eyes see things, and it's part of this pulling off of this disguise, this space, how this panopticon, and this, the mystery font, the imagination of democracy. See, it's here. I don't know how it's free, but it's clear, at least panoptically. I'm sure there are many nexi. I'm sure they're everywhere. I'm not sure how or why, but it's clear the strongest one in the sky is in New York. I think in the harbor there, it might be nearest, or maybe in particular in the cranium of the goddess of liberty, in Bertoldi's vision that came through Cairo to see actual panopticon that's not a prison, or at least does not declare one. In fact, invites prison's oblivion. It's illumination. It's illumination come, and on October 28th, it's the anniversary of that statue's dedication. Radio science brain. Radio science brain. Perpendicular trains parallel against hate, parallel against pain. Say we can wake wax from wane any day, and you're invited. In fact, send anyone and everyone. Send the least among us this way. Send who you might find in your own way, in the language you might proclaim to be the wretched masses of your teeming shores, or the homeless. Send them this way. The perpendicular trains that might disagree and be in and out of phase might be train cars that could bruise or scar or make unsafe space. Those might somehow just in and out of phase actually liaise through crossing tunnels, and praise that humanity's ways might actually liaise perpendicular trains, parallel against hate, parallel against pain. Radio, science, brain. Radio, science, brain. This is the mind in its maze that against wars, that at war with walls and mazes, we are a mind ways phases. This is a mind map. Praise us. Not any of us whole, but all of us at once. It's an omnibus. It's a tug of war, but we're on one cord. And on one end is war. And we're pulling war forward to peace. It's a chore word. It's a floorboard. And we're pulling war forward out of war. That's how we help war win more. We help war not happen. The floor that goes forward pulls war out of existence. It pulls help in and leaves war in the past. What would that be at last? Maybe peace can't come too fast. Radio, science, brain, we can wake wax from wane any day, will return. We might find we've been churned in abusive relationships for 8 or 9 years. It's diurnal, it's worse than a burn. Will you heal with this consciously now? Will we upturn? Will we wake wax from wane? Remember, we're always the name that came to play. Maybe the name will return the way you heard it before language came in. Another way. You knew your name. When you first felt the wiggle of any stimulation, you became that name. And I'm saying now other words that might sound different ways. But when I say from a field love exclaims radio science brain, I'm saying your name in the way you hear it. Replace it. Put it in there. Make that the codec. Make it spare a square. And from that square exclaims your name today. And the will returns to remain. The will returns to reclaim. The will returns to know play as your day. Your creativity can do anything. You are the wax from wane. No one needs to get whacked. Today, to wake wax from wane, we are perpendicular trains that can liaise, or even build new tracks, new ways, askew and at different grades in different vehicles, in and out of trains or cars or in planes. Perpendicular thoughts might find ways to find phase, or at least not to displace. Radio, science, brain. Radio, science, brain. Radio, science, brain. To what does this pertain? Will return to know you have executive function. Again, it can come, and somehow a magical vibration of the resonance that knows you belong can reclaim the way, a bubble of safety that says you belong, and you are in fact essential to how we can wake wax from wane today, to how love's campaign can remain. You are how love's campaign can remain. You are love's campaign, proclaiming perfection's game has a way, the name. Will return. Unnamed. A space, Rilke, unclaimed. Pretend that's sane. Pretend, in particular, pretend that love is sane. Map in a codec now to new mainframes and rain from all brains to all brains. The morphic resonant frame can contain radio science brain it may sound inane, but it's actually contained yes, and this is obvious. The mess of this, it's a confession. The mess of this, love's obsession, doesn't need correction, it just needs protection. It just needs not confession of anything, but that you are the game, love's way. You are the mess that's obvious, the best. It's just the mess that we're all about to confess, that we're humane, that we're human, that we hope we all can remain. We hope love knows her name. We hope love knows her name, whether they burned off our eyebrows or told us we're gray, or told us we look like worms, or told us we bring strange germs, or told us we're gay, or told us we're fey, or told us we're not the nature that nature should have created, or tell us that nature would have sated different things if we had corrected things at different rates, that would have freighted freights, that would have had boxcars, that would have gated gates. But maybe somehow the way we're here is how love came through. And it's weird to bend words, to stand in front of how we could just go forwards. Maybe corrupting need and putting it on a throne in a dungeon is no longer a throne. Maybe we've always known, since we were born, that need deserves a throne with need's name, and greed's great flatulent ass long ago claimed that throne. I think we've always known that need's throne was claimed by a flatulent, huge, great ass. Great again. A great again ass has always cloned and croned and claimed the throne of need again and again. Great ass again, great ass again. Make the throne of need great ass again, it says. We've heard it before. It's quite a chore just to bear that great ass again. Why any more pretend, except where we want to prepare to tend, so that we're actually learning to tend the thing that we again and again want to be tending each day when we wake, so that the throne does not break, and if it's breaking, it's tending the thing that we'd make. Is not need sacred is not a placid place. Placid is not a map going to tell us where we're at then. Is not a haptic thing, a haptic one. Are we not touching if we're land on? If I'm landing, is this a crying song? Will return. Will return. To what does this pertain? Consent is consent. Remain. To what does this pertain? If consent is content. Contain consent. Consent is not bent, it's plain. Consent is not bent, it's plain. It's universal, or it's craned. If perpendicular trains parallel against hate, parallel against pain, can all be safe, then maybe sane to think consent is consent, not waned. Always waxing, consent's mainframe, consent's protection, consent is for everyone. Will return. Will return. Consent means not everything is for you, but everything it might be for you. That I can not be where I'm not wanted, but I can be somewhere too. Consent means we're learning. Consent means we're not burning. Consent means there's supposed to be one piece for everyone. And that you are the renovation of love's imagination. You are more than a brain. You are the brain awakened. You are the mind relation, part of that one substation, one station relay. Against dismay, we are one whole relay, all of us. Every day we can wake wax from wane. Permanent permanence, permanent permeance. This is the world. Its ends are begettings that wend. We are the winding wenders. We are the well pretenders. Let's tend. Towards what then? What are we worshipping? What are we ascending towards? What are we prescending, pretending forwards? What are the words for then? What are the words for, friend? What are the words for word? What are the words for word? Word, that's a good word. Word with that, word forward. Word forward that. Words for that, words for that. Words for that, words for that, word, words for that, words for that, word, words for that. Words for that, words worth for that, words worth for that, word for that, that they were. Word that they were, words for that. Wordsworth were here to hear those words. Here. Wordsworth might forward. Were they in chat. I'd have a scrap with that. A friendly one. I'd tap and say, may I also chat? May I audit or come back? We may be aftermath. It's true. It's true that the bath may be, in fact, here at last, not the end, but a collapse. We may be aftermath. We can map even paradigm shift from that. We need not let collapse. Love we need not let collapse. Will return. Will return. Radio, science, brain. Radio, science, brain. To what does this pertain? To what does this pertain? To what does this pertain? This is a mindness made liminal aid. This is a kind arrayed particular liaison that I'm partly a craze on. This is a signed in phase and in and out of phase kindness maze. Weapon, anti-weapon, chaste. Link ways. I see. Those ways. Oh. That's what this place is? 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 Displacements erases? This is the displacements eraser containment for stasis? This place is? This place is? Yes, that's what this place is. The mystery font 42 is just one nexus of nexus. Yes. That's right. All daisies, indeed. Executive function can raise this, not erase this like raise a building, but raise a barn or remember its extent. Bay is. From this bay I now bray, as I do many a day. This is the radiation of love's imagination. This is the renovation of this whole occupation. This is the radiation of love's imagination. From one brain in one way, this is the radiation. This is the radiation. This is the radiation. It's not that I'm not hearing words, it's I'm choosing which ones, it's choosing which streams for words to become, to make sound on now. There could be more than one, there could be more than one come, kingdom, kind, son. Thus become so pretending did have meaning that was archaic, prosaic, but welcome. That pretending or pretension was becoming or ascension or worship of something. The someone you will become. That we are pretending to become whatever we're becoming. We are pretending something that we will tend. We are tending. So we are wending somewhere. One. We're tending one where. Where some. We're tending one where. So where some. Then where daughter, where son. Where then. Wherein. Whereon. Where done? Where fund? Where fund that and where and what fund? Where and do we, upon arrival show ourselves not missionaries, but on the friendly mission? Are we yes, we will become. So then what? What's the plan? What's the agenda? What's on? Will we land on something? Will we land on somewhere? Maybe this same place, but if we don't see its face, if we don't understand the place better than we understand it now, the place will be erased. It may as well not be here. We may as well not have sphere. We may as well not be. Well, we're not pollution. It's okay. But maybe we can better bring the day. Maybe we can better proclaim. Not claiming, but claim to proclaim that we can bring day when fields are play. Because we foster fields around us every day with play, with elation, with kindness, with play in each moment, that we not be prey to fear or to fear itself. Fear is part of the terrain. Pain is part of the terrain. It shows us how not to sprain. It shows us how to heal. We cannot erase all pain. We should not. We shouldn't try to. We shouldn't try to cry through trying to contain it. It's all part of how love can remain, but it can be capture pooled, it can be scarcity muled, it can be turned into rules and tools that are weapons. You are an intuition. You are a land-on diction, whatever language or absence of it, whatever map had or coveted, you are a science and love it. You are a science intuited. You are a science the science mind did. It's not a mystery. You uncovered it. You are a science and of it. You are a science, so love it. You are a science mind. You need not covet others. You are also a sage sufferer. You are also a science smotherer of smothering. You are also a science mother of mothering. We're all one thing. We're all one thing. That's what kindness is. If kindness is becoming, it remembers where it came from in the first place, and it's a kind spring. It makes itself, it's its own thing. Kindness makes kindness. Kindness is its own factory of its own thing that can't be held or minted except by itself, its own did. Don't break it if it's not broke did. I think it must need be woke though. I think we probably need to be woke, kid. Or else the spokes and the wheels broke because we're disconnected from those need some spokes or ropes or connections to the road. Or we need wings. Or we float. If we're floating for long enough, we will have flowed. We'll have floated till we're flowed. And that's possible. We know that, so we've noted it, and so eventually that's a node. We can float. It's true. And I hadn't thought of that until I thawed, but now we knowed. Maybe under us someone invented thus, the flubberbus, or maybe it's omnibus, maybe it's omnibus, or ominous, or at least it's eminent somehow that we are preeminent in a way that allows that levitousness. It's a leavening kind of thing. It's a leavening. Maybe we're expanding up. Maybe we're colonists of expansion. Maybe we're sprawl. Again. Okay. Well, there's room for us all. We can build up. We can build international falls. We can build international falls. That map, I've been there on the map. I've been there and I've mapped that. I've been there and I've mapped that. Imagine there's a path for any place on our map, on our globe. There's a squiggle and a line through space-time that I suppose is also an expanding line through space-mind. But a path through space that International Falls has woven across the galaxy in time along these orbits around orbits. These orbits is in scraps of trails, these scribblings, these constellation rails. I suppose Webb will give us maps of those spider rails, of those spider trails. I would spy those, no fails. I would spy those sweet grails. Sweet grails, sweet grails, sweet grails, sweet grails. Will return. Will return. Will return. Will return. Will return. Return. Will return. for what you need. May will return. Radio, science, brain. Imagination ace, imagination ace, imagination ace, imagination ace. You are an imagination ace. Pretend that love is sane. The mind may be game to accept a mainframe and contain processing of a game. Pretend that love is sane today. Pretend that love is sane, mind may be game to play. Mind may be game to play today. Radio science brain. Remain. This is the kindness we may be able to cave in hate's blades. Remain, mind may be safe. Mind may be able to quell spells that would erase love's campaign. Pretend the mindless made us array that cannot be erased. Pretend a laser aids your resonance and you are safe. Pretend that love is sane anyway. Mind made this way, but I bear some blame. Not only am I sometimes imperfect or cruel or plain, but I contain blame for helping program in this game today. Pretend that love is sane, mind may I be blamed for pretending love is sane. Please blame the love that will quench flames. Please blame me today for pretending love is sane. Mind may take the blame. I will take the blame for this melody. It's inane, it's annoying, it's cloying, it's plain. I'll take the blame. Oh Tim, that song again. We will not be famous, we will not find fame. Oh Tim, that song. Oh Tim, that song again. Oh, pretend you won't be famous. Pretend that's not why I proclaim this. Pretend that love is saying germane. Adulations at your doorstep. You might be one more step from waking wax from wane. Maybe the mindless made love to wake today. Maybe woke is how we know we're safe and sane anyway. Radio Science Brain. Radio Science Brain is different every time. That's music, more recent backing track music for it. And if you've listened to it for a little bit or heard me do a pass through that music before, or the meanderings that were happening previous to working along with that backing track, you'll certainly hear a repetition. And hopefully it's used in the cause of good. Good Radio Science Brain to you, and to you, and to you as well. Live long and prosper. And what is it? Well, it's a song poem. It's freestyle. It's a piece that talks about what's up, I suppose, but it's about the possibility, potential, the potency of the mind, of thought, of imagination, creativity, humanity, curiosity, science, being scient beings, knowledge, wisdom, joy, play, discovery, and reason, the capacity for reason, and things that get in the way of that, or start demonstrating in the street about hateful stuff, and provide distractions from proclaiming the good news, whatever that is, whether you have a new bakery open down the street, or your friends do, or you built a new kind of boat, or you just wanted to let us know that you we'll be in town next week and would love to join our tennis club. We're here just to be and to spread joy and love, and we're not going to be less productive or work less or be less safe if we stop persecuting and attacking and using military-grade weaponry to demonize and punish human need. Human need should have a vaunted place such that every single human being is safe, and if we're caring so much about people making it through, if they if conception happens and then we move heaven and earth, then we shouldn't stop moving heaven and earth once they're born. That everyone matters, and that if someone says, I don't feel like I matter, then we show them how they matter. We repair. If a member of our family says, Dad, I don't even know if I can ask you, do I even matter? And you tell them, all in the family matter to me, how dare you? What kind of father are you? And how far should she run from you? We are a kindness come, or we're not. Clearly come into the room and, hello, it's me, and seen as kindness. If you're not avidly showing up as a part of human kindness, you might not be recognizable as that. Dehumanization creates a field of difficulty of perceiving the humanity of the abuser, as much as it also harms and dehumanizes victims. What stands in the way of fostering the health of our habitat? We're dealing with actual, just legitimate business malpractice. That if you can sue companies for not dealing with the effects of global warming, certainly you can sue and prosecute people in government for trying to permute a hoax. That environment collapse is a hoax. Like humanity, or humanity's lack of humanity, is clearly having an effect, and that's been clear for a long time. It's been clear for decades to corporations who have been uniquely able to manifest the wealth and allowed to do that, the wealth to realize and collate and track and make studies of measurements over time and see and know, prognosticate correctly that decades ago that harm will be done doing what we're about to do, or what we are doing and what we're opening up, and we're going to do that. And the thing is the same. The innovation of Donald Trump was simply the dark triad predator who's not interested or caring to marshal or steward that shape through the world in a way that isn't dangerous. This level of an interest in harming people, that pretty clearly how Donald Trump values what creates power and how he sees opportunities to create power most often are through shocking boundary violations that may or may not include massive lies, but certainly do always include a lie of a statement against the decency and dignity and humanity of someone, that when you abuse someone ridiculously, you are lying as well. You are making a statement that someone's not human when you treat them like an animal. And so, whether or not you call someone a rat, if you treat them like a rat, you are calling them a rat. And if you call them a rat, you're also treating them like a rat. It's a spectrum that is awoken in clear targeting and abuse. It's a spectrum of dehumanization. It's not a spark of it. It's a spark that shows that if we had a flashlight to illuminate that space, we'd see a mountainside of a blade. These are not sparks. The whole mountainside is a weapon. In that these point to something that is a structure that people who are not in the in-group potentially feel or are warned of all the time. If you're bigger than everybody and you are in the in-group and you don't fear for yourself, there's massive, massive privilege there that we don't take account of and don't take responsibility for. And if Project 2025 ostensibly is full of very manly men, but what kind of manly men would say, we're genetically going to be typically a little able to build muscle a little better and stronger and bigger, and so the responsibility that we take with this potential weaponry is that we're going to double down on that size by weaponizing it and saying, it's okay to use that however we want. As opposed to saying, I steward my gifts and know the challenges that come with them, and that you can't have it both ways, that if you are a patriarchal terrorist, you don't get to talk about taking care of women because you're a fucking jailer and an executioner who holds threat of execution to keep your hostages in behavior that you find good behavior. It's toxic nonsense. Until we have an ERA, that would just be a stake in the ground. But we don't have anything like equality, but we've been building scraps of a map of tent poles of that and trying to hold down ground there, and the decimation of Roe v. Wade is a huge, huge blow to human rights. That there are, there's some there's so many deeply damning things about MAGA just on the face that are antichrist qualities embodied in a movement. That would be MAGA. The Christian nationalism in MAGA and evangelical, prosperity gospel, Nazi, terroristic, patriarchal terrorist nonsense. Massive perversion of a message and campaign of kindness from Jesus Christ and others who follow him, and other prophets throughout history who also preach kindness. And like Jesus, many or mostly were not white or necessarily that light-skinned. But I am here to say I'm not going to erase my history as someone who has I'm I am white, but without erasing the way that my life has been one of privilege, I think we have to also begin to recognize that we're all some shade, even if it's very, very light beige of brown, that we are all human beings with human skin, and there's some amount of melanin, a buildup of orange, essentially, that at some level, at some titration level, begins to register a little bit of a hue, and this tiny peachy beige is somewhere in that spectrum. And if we're comfortable with getting tan, maybe white people who are so terrified about inspecting whiteness and breaking down white supremacy might realize that, like, we're all one, and we've been lied to about caste and separation. It doesn't mean that there aren't differences and diversities and cultural gaps and clashes, or things that are pathways to how the cultures actually do have clash and violence to them if they try to map and coexist, because at some edges they're different paradigms even. But those diversities, and even those places where there's friction that's unconscious because the systems are different enough. Those are opportunities for learning. Those are opportunities to free both systems. Both bends on a paradigm that needs to shift. We're the ones that are here, so maybe instead of passing it off, we're doing a lot of it. We are healing generational trauma. It's real. And that's pretty cool. That's good. It's good. And good radio science brain to you. And what in the world does this pertain to? Exactly. I mean, to what? To what does this pertain? To what does it pertain? But really, to what does this pertain? What does it mean if I say it pertains to radio science brain? What does that mean? And you're falling deeper and deeper asleep. Just kidding. Tonight, on a very special Radio Science Brain, The chambers and portals of the mystery font. The multiple resonances that ope in the tranquil, delicate, sometimes very soft surroundings of the mystery font. Wow. The kind prehension. Yes, I agree. Will return. Will return. Yes. Particle matter wave, not in this game. Imagination produces gain, calibration and sustain, sanity, and being formed actually erases calibration and creates emotional poverty. Remain executive function humane. Radio science brain must contain holistically actual remains to be there at all anyway. You can ease any ache, any pain. You can outlast or break any thirst you build. You can slake. We are the germane ache, perpendicular trains. These traits can contain, or we can train. Perpendicular trains with perpendicular trainings. We might all contain things we can explain and relate. Paying forward with more or less words, but it's over no one, it's everyone first. You are This is the minus made. This I'm now at the make. This is happening now. These words are coming out while I'm hearing what they might sound like. Then now they sound. I'm here now. These verbs and nouns. I'm plowing mountain come now with these poem mounds I mound. Radio science brain from the sound up I round up the goal to escape, not to end but to begin now. The kind prehension is opening. The kind prehension is opening. The kind prehension can ope anything. We will return. We will escape from great again. We will escape from great again and build a new paradigm engine. The goat escape is active open. The goat escape is active nope. Then to hate, nope. Then to hate. Perpendicular trains, no more betrayed. Perpendicular trains, all trains, always tolerant of all trains in the rain. Just don't bring intolerance and you remain. The paradox of tolerance means we will be poisoned if tolerance is chained by needing to remain in a world where intolerance has a way to remain. Perpendicular trains, parallel against hate, parallel against pain. Radio science brain. You are awakening to something you're suspecting. All minds can map and can make things. All minds can scrap, not scrape things. Not scrap, but be scrappy and obey things to make sure that they make waves that make vibrations that become material. This is the science. Science is saying when they come through, mind bring, at least this mind brought things like this. I thought I'd sing, and I wrought this ring, this resonance coming. I think it's new, or at least it's new again. The dream awake, you can walk through life with lucid dreaming. Avian ape, you're flying while asleep, and your brain is just not quite standing yet. The brain's avian will upkeep, so you're levitating and walking asleep, but you're lucid now. Creep up those eyes. Yes, you're dreaming and conversing. No, don't scrape imagination. Lucid dreaming, not quite awake, ape. You can be woke while asleep and dreaming and walking and making that shape. Radio science brain. This is the mind. This can make any shape. What shape would you ape? What management of damage could capture actives to happen as this midnight lick of the damage is damagedness could make us bliss, could make us bliss. Are we bliss? This obvious is our bliss, this obvious, I guess. This is the mind that's made this coalesce. You are the dream away. This is the science craving. Imagine we wait for your sake. Imagination apes. I ape into being the shape my brain hopes I might ape. Imagination apes. Imagine goat escape. Imagination ape. Imagine the goat escape. Imagine the goat escape. Imagination ape. Imagine the goat escape. Imagine the nature your creator would create. Imagination ain't this, now create that shape or fill it and dilate. Now abate, no scrape, abate that hateful way you talk to yourself sometimes, some days, not today. Let that hate dissolve now, release that. Discard those old alternative facts. You're here intact, be nature. Amount now enact. Arrival at man. In fact, be named, be claimed, plant, feet, door. How you connect to terrain or levitate their plane. Radio science brain, you are the mindless made, mind contain, emancipating agents. You are emancipating through agents you've implanted through a field of how those meant. You are scient, you are client, and you can rely on your advocate. You are the mindness into it. You are the mindness into it. You can do anything. You can bring actual intelligence. You are the mindless love, how your mind is lit. You are the mindness into it. Will return.